Chapter 6 Ganesh Yoga. Practicing karma according to one's dharma with an attitude of surrendering to Ganesha is Karma Yoga. This being the end of yogic spiritual practice, the intellect of that yoga seeker, once it is established in the non-differentiating meditative union, does not move anywhere else. This is Achala Buddhi stage, which I have just explained. A seeker who has attained Yoga Siddhi has no more desires left. Closely following that yogi's practices of dharma and karma, which are basically as ordained by his destiny for the upliftment of the people, this is because there are no more desires left. In brief, the Veda Traya is almost without any action and is mostly silent. After that, Varenya prays, "Please narrate to me about Ganesh Yoga. Just as you had narrated earlier about the state of Shiva and other Brahmas, their forms and methods of attaining them, in the same way, please narrate to me the form and method of attaining the state of Ganesh Brahma." Fulfilling that prayer, Shri Gajanan Prabhu says to Varenya, Purna Swananda state is where all differences end. The Swananda Yoga in which one attains the psychic power of non-differentiation is the true siddhi of a liberated soul. Listen to that now. He says in the 53rd verse, Manasana kilan kaman yadadi mastyajit priyam swatmanit svena santushta sthira buddhistadochate. It is true that the Atman which bears the complete principle of Tattvamasi, that is the glory of Satsvananda, is the absolute Ganesh Brahma. It is beyond one or all qualities. For the purpose of playing his desire of his own free will, he creates separately the fourfold power centers out of his own self-knowing, which perform the play through the form of their own Atma. Those who play are Asat, Sat and Sama, and one who makes them play is the fourth, who is the unmanifest, and the play must go on. The Atman, whose form is for four types, is known from the characteristic of absolute Abheda Swananda. It is not possible to describe it in any other way. When this play is going on as per his desire, and if out of his own desire, the bearer of the glory of Swananda establishes in his own form, then he begins to think, how did Swananda Brahma, who is the form of union of all, come to be blamed? How did the inspiration for the fourfold play and being the Atman of the four types come to take place? It is the awareness of the soul's essence of the four types that has arisen within me, that through their joy I am able to feel joy within myself, and from their sorrow I am feeling a sense of sadness within myself. How and why does this happen? I should necessarily be relieved from this connection. When he thinks in this manner, he makes it possible to get attracted to the meditative union of restraint in the internal world. This means that he begins to discard the awareness of the form and nature of the four types. This keeps urging him till the state of bliss is attained. Then the essence of the four types melts away by itself. The moment one actualizes the experience of being in supraconscious meditative union, then the absolute superconscious meditative union in the form of Tattvamasi, the supraconscious meditative union of dissolution of causal matter, and supraconscious meditative union of the incorporeal, including the essence of being in the self, melts away. Since all this is achieved under the guidance and proximity of a Sadguru and through steady contemplation, entertaining further thoughts here will not be useful. Through steady practice of superconscious and supraconscious meditative unions, when one attains the absolute experience of being in the meditative union, one will be able to actualize totally Tattvamasi and enjoy the glory of Swananda. By closely adhering to that perfect maturity in serial order, How does one achieve the actualization of Asat and other power centers that are experienced? That is, how does one achieve the knowledge of the glory of the absolute Ganesh Yoga? This is the question that arose within King Varenya. In reply to this thoughtful question, he says, when the experience of the glory of Asat Swananda Brahma comes first, he follows its nature and form very closely, and then he gives it up. If what is left of me is only the glory of the form of Sat, then why should I take the blame of Asat? By holding on to this view, based on the strength gained through meditative union, the essence of Asat too melts away spontaneously. In the same manner, one is able to completely give up Sat Swananda, Samaswananda and Sahaja Swananda in that order. And then he holds on to the experience of being in the state of absolute supraconscious meditative union. Then the whole Swaswanand is the only one which is experienced completely from all directions. There is no possibility of any union from anyone else, nor does it get connected to anything else. When this is the state of truth, how does the enlightenment of the four powers, their play and state of non-differentiation happen? It happens because of the presence of two powers, namely Siddhi and Buddhi. Here, Siddhi makes the awareness of contrary conditions possible, and the one who supports that awareness is Buddhi. Therefore, when one has experienced Swaswanand to be the only one, then the creator of contradictory awareness, namely Siddhi, gives up her Maya enticing nature and attains equanimity in the glory of Swaswanand. This means that the power of knowledge of objects, which is Mahabuddhi, too gives up the separate power of awareness born out of enchantment and gets absorbed in the glory of Swananda. This is the well-known glory as the husband of Siddhi and Buddhi. However, in that state, it is not possible to say anything about him being the husband of Siddhi and Buddhi or the essence of Ganesha. It is only possible to become aware of him through a harmonious connection to the self. The entire lot of changes seem to become impediments. Therefore, the indication of that state is made in the Vedas as Mauna Bhava meditative union or the stillness in meditative union. The essence of this state is stated in the verse from the Vedas, Niravaranataya Vedyamanam Anandam Swanandam, describing the glory of the absolute Swananda. Sri Gajanan Prabhu says to King Varenya, this is the complete glory of the state of Swananda, my glory. That is, one can say it is the glory of Ganesh Brahma. The complete actualization of Tattvamasi and the conclusion of all Brahmas takes place here. From here, the whole play of Brahma begins, and it is the portion of this power that they depend on for carrying out their play. That is the reason why, from the point of view of my glory, I am called Brahmanaspati. Know that this glory of Ganesh Brahma is of the nature of absolute union. Specifically, what has been stated in the verse Shive Vishnocha is Yoga Sa, which is understood as yoga. Beyond this, that which has been indicated by the words Sanyoga Yoga and Purna Yoga, Mama Mata, has to be known as Ayoga and Purna Yoga. That will be narrated later on as we go into the scripture. Now let us look into the meaning of what is known as Ganesha. The incomparable glorious Swananda Yoga is called Ganesh. What has been narrated in the Puranas and other scriptures about the subject is what I am going to narrate to you now. Listen to it carefully. What is the important meaning conveyed by the three-lettered word Ganesha based on the evidence from Vedas and Puranas? In Rig Veda, the reference to the word Ganesh is to Brahmanaspati. The meaning conveyed is the master or one who takes care of the Brahmaganas, who is the Lord and therefore Ganesh. Extolling his praise with the same meaning is made through Brahmanaspati Suktas in the Rig Veda. The meaning given in Yajurveda is that Brahma, which is always Abheda or undivided, is Ganesh. In Samaveda, the song by the name of Namashtak is in his praise has elucidated the meaning of the word Ganesh as the state where the undivided form of the mind and speech is experienced and which is represented by the letter G, and the state beyond mind and speech is represented by the letter N, and the one who is the lord of both is Ganesh. In the Kutumi branch of Samaveda, there is a study named Namashtak Stuti, and he is praised in those suktas. In the Atharvana Veda, there is an Upanishad named Ganesha Tapini, in which there is a verse Brahma Vishnu Shivadi Gananam Isha Bhuta Mityaha Tad Ganeshamiti. It has also been extolled that Brahmanaspati is verily the Atman itself, and he is Ganesh. Thus, the name Ganesh in all four Vedas has been given the highest importance as Brahmanaspati, that is the Atman of Bhuma Brahma. There is no one who can be compared with him on the same level. Seeing this as evidence of Sri Yogendra Maharaj asks one to establish this in oneself without any pride or doubt. What is meant here is that, based on Shastras and Puranas and even the science of grammar, one can arrive at the same significant meaning. The word Gana is a collective noun, and all kinds of collective nouns fall into the term expressed by Gana. Therefore, the Lord of Ganas, or the total of all collective nouns, is Ganesh. Therefore, that Atman verily is Brahmanaspati, who is the God and Lord of Swananda. He alone is the completely accomplished Ganesh, just as one experiences the same form in the actualization of Brahma, that is, the absolute glory of self-knowing, indicative of the goal of complete yogic stage. The same indication of its glory about its completeness also appears in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana in the verse Jnanartha Vachako Gascha Nascha Nirvana Vachaka Tayor Isham Parabrahma Ganesham Pranamamyaham. Its explanation has been given in the commentary of Gargya Maharshi as follows. The gist of it is how the alphabet G is an expression of Jnana. The expression of Jnana and its meaning, which is complete Abheda, is represented by G. Know that the characteristic of Shakta Brahma is the alphabet G. So one form is knowledge, which is understood as the form of Saura Brahma. That consciousness is represented as the sound of in the alphabet G. Then one or all of the total sound of the alphabet G is known as Vaishnav Brahma, that is, a being of that meaning, and G stands for knowledge, becomes the expression of Asat, Sat and Samab, representative of Shakti, Surya and Vishnu. The indicators of truth and completeness are the characteristics of liberation, which is an expression of the alphabet N. They are demonstration of Neti Brahma, of the nature of Sahaja Brahma or Shaiva Brahma. Hence, the Lord of all the four powers is Ganesh, the Lord of Swananda. From the name of Ganesha, one should meditate on the alphabet G, on the consciousness of the triad Vishnu, Surya and Shakti, Brahma, and one should know the fourth, who is Shaiva Brahma, the form of the alphabet N. In this manner, with the letters G and N, he makes us conscious about the four power centers of Swananda Brahma. The indication towards the special meaning of the alphabets G and N should be understood in this manner with regard to the name of Ganesha and nothing else. This has to be kept in mind, and its special significance has been instructed by the Shrutis. Thus, the Lord of Ganas and Goblins is Ganesh, who is the Lord of Swananda, Brahmanaspati. In this manner, Ganesh Yoga is the union of the four types of power centers who has self-knowing. King Varenya is not entirely satisfied. He says, please tell me a little bit more about it. What you have said is less. Sri Gajanana Prabhu says, your body consisting of the Deha, Dehi, consciousness and learning, and that which is the glory of the four types of self-knowing, and the complete non-differentiation that is experienced become that, and experience absolute Swananda. Completely examine your mind and whatever there is of material objects. Giving up all of them, you should cool down your mind. Then alone it can be determined that you have completely given up all desires. In short, the mind should become completely cooled, then the fourfold causal matter, conscious spirit filled with material objects of the world, consisting of the five types of elements, and even the world and the Lord of the universe, kind of matters too, will leave the mind. In this manner, when one's mind is filled with Swananda, then it can be said that one has completely given up all material things. This is the meaning of the statement Yada Manasan Akhilan Kaman Tyajet. In the end, when one is satisfied with what one gets according to the destiny by way of both good and bad experiences that the body undergoes, and has no desires remaining in one's mind, then only it can be said that he has attained the state of Swananda Yoga. Notwithstanding, once the seeker understands that the abode for complete joy is Swananda, his mind gets absorbed there and does not go anywhere else. Then only one gets the benefit of a stable mind. The intellect is engrossed in the bliss of Swananda and does not get distracted on seeing any other object or happiness. In this manner, except for the bliss of Swananda, nothing else can ever enter into the intellect. Then alone can we say that the intellect has become steady. This is how we study Swatmani Svena Santushta stage. Once different kinds of knowledge has become enlightened in one's mind, and when the intellect realizes that they are all illusory, then alone can one say that he has become steady. Meditative union, or the one who bears the state of meditative union, etc., does not happen because in the nature of Swanand, after the intelligence of the intellect has become completely steady, no more duties remain and the urge does not exist at all. We shall see the nature of the mind and the intellect of a yogi in the next audio.